Alright, I have a Samsung Galaxy A8, model number SMA530W, and it's my mom's phone, and she dropped it and then the screen cracked. So I watched a few videos on YouTube on the replacement, so we're going to see if we can try and replace the screen today. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is power it off. To do that, I'm just going to turn it on and then hold the power button down and press power off, tap it again, draw my pattern. Okay, and once it's powered off, I'm going to pop out the SIM card holder, as well as the memory card holder on the top. Alright, so now I'm just going to use a heat gun, and I'm going to just warm up the bottom half here just for a couple minutes to loosen up the glue. Okay, once it's been warmed up a bit, I'm just going to use a little pry knife and try to get myself in between the glass and the frame and pry it off. And once the back glass plate is off, I'm just going to scrape off the remaining glue around the edges. A little putty knife here. Alright, so I have all the glue removed, so the next thing I'm going to do is remove the 15 screws here that are holding down the motherboard bracket. And there's one underneath as well, right there. So I'm going to remove all 15 of those screws next. Alright, once the screws have been removed, we should be able to remove the motherboard bracket. Gently prying these off here. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the same process for the LCD removal. So I'm just going to use my heat gun, heat around the edges to warm up that glue, and then use a putty knife to scrape in behind there and pull the LCD out. You're going to be a little bit more careful here. There's a lot of glass pieces that are coming up as I run my knife along the edge just because it's all cracked up. So just go slowly and run the knife along the edge as you warm it up. So I just finished cleaning up all the glue around the edges, just using a scalpel and then some rubbing alcohol and a toothpick just to make sure it's nice and clean. Now what I'm going to do is add a little bit of B7000 glue just around the edges again, and then we'll put our new LCD in place. Okay, so we're ready to put our LCD in place, so we're just going to make sure that the cable goes through the slot here. Okay, and then we'll secure the phone in place. Alright, now we're ready to reconnect the LCD back here and the battery. Last but not least, we can start placing the mounting bracket back in place. Starting at the bottom, middle, I'm just going to replace all the screws. Alright, now we're ready to put on the new back cover. So let's do that. I need to take the camera off of the old one. So I'm just going to use a heat gun. Warm this up a bit. Now I'm just going to use a little pry tool, get underneath there, and pry that off. Perfect. Alright, so now I'm just going to put the camera in place. before I put the glass back on top. Perfect. All right, so I have my new rear cover here, so I'm just going to remove the plastic. So the adhesive tape that came with my new back cover didn't stick very well, so I'm just going to use some B7000 glue and just dab it around the edges here before we put it in place. I'm just going to put a little bit around the camera as well. All right, so now we can carefully replace the back cover. Just get it all nice and square. So I'm just going to add some clamps around the edges until the glue dries. I'll probably let it sit overnight with the clamps on. All right, clamps are off, glue is dry, and we're ready to give it a try. Okay, just gonna test the LCD bit here. Make sure that the keyboard works. That looks great. Minimize. All right, looks like we have a working phone. Just gonna also test my camera to make sure that I've hooked up the back camera port properly. Okay, that's looking good. So we were able to successfully replace the LCD on this Galaxy A8 as well as the back glass. I guess the only caution I'd like to throw out there is that I watched a few YouTube videos on replacing the LCDs on these phones before attempting this fix, and those videos said it would take about 20 to 30 minutes. This took me definitely more than that, probably 2 to 3 hours by the time I removed the LCD, the back, as well as cleaned up all the glue around the edges and re-glued the new LCD in. So there's definitely a little bit of time there, as well as leaving the glue to cure for a few hours before trying the phone. So that's the only caution I'd like to throw out there. I had to pay about $100 Canadian for the display, as well as $20 for the back glass, and about $20 for the glue. So I just wanted to add that in there, that there is some cost that you'll have to determine whether or not you want to invest in terms of replacing the LCD on your phone if it's broken.